So Donald Trump recently named Tulsi Gabbard as the Director of National Intelligence for his upcoming administration. Gabbard, of course, being a former Democrat, now a Republican representative from the state of Hawaii. She ran for the Democratic nomination in 2020. She ran on Medicare for All, a fairly progressive domestic agenda, as well as a staunchly non-interventionist foreign policy. And she's had beef with the Democratic Party for a long time. And so now she's out to try and get her revenge and is crusading for Trump, calling Trump anti-war, talking about how Trump is against the establishment, and turning a blind eye to a lot of the neoconservatism that Trump sort of embodied and brought in with his administration, both the first time and seemingly this next time, starting in January 2025. But I want to talk about some of the reaction to Tulsi Gabbard being nominated, namely from AOC while speaking to Joy-Ann Reid. So she talked about how Tulsi Gabbard is not anti-war but is pro-war. I'm going to read this. This is from AOC. And I actually think, almost more than Matt Gaetz, Tulsi Gabbard's appointment is devastating. And Tulsi Gabbard's nomination, as much as she says that she's an anti-war person, she's not. She supports very pro-war individuals. Joy-Ann Reid chimed in and said, including in Syria. So that's referring to Bashar al-Assad. She definitely has a point there, by the way. And let's be very clear. A Tulsi Gabbard nomination is a pro-war nomination globally. Point blank, period. Joy-Ann Reid then chimed in and said the same is true of Donald Trump as President of the United States, that he is pro-war. That is generally true. But I want to address the merit of what AOC said. I don't know if I agree with her on this. I don't think this is the right way of going after Gabbard. Do I think that Tulsi Gabbard is a neocon of the same variety as George W. Bush or Dick Cheney? The answer is no. The answer is no. She simply is not. What she says does not measure up to what the neoconservatives say. The problem with Tulsi Gabbard is that she turns a blind eye to Trump and Assad and Putin's own aggressive foreign policy, their own pro-war foreign policy. Tulsi Gabbard has kind of made a name for herself, not only for being pro-Assad, but also for being very sympathetic to Putin, for criticizing the decision to fund Ukraine, something that actually there's a lot of bipartisan agreement on. But she says the establishment Democrats and the establishment Republicans have got it wrong. Ukraine is not the victim. She criticizes Ukraine, says that we should not be sending money to them. And yeah, she just generally talks about like the deep state in this very vague sense, that, you know, the deep state has tried to control Trump, but they can't do it. And that's why they're so gosh darn frustrated with him. They want to control him, but they can't. And that's why he's a threat to the establishment. It's a pretty tired old talking point. I would appreciate if Democratic opponents of Gabbard and Trump would focus their criticisms more on those lines. That Tulsi Gabbard doesn't really stand for a whole lot. She vaguely professes to be anti-war, while also being vocally supportive of dictators and, wannabe dictators like Donald Trump. And yet, yeah, she, as I said, she turns a blind eye to their own hawkishness. Yeah, I see what AOC means about supporting pro-war individuals, but that doesn't mean that she's not necessarily anti-war, that she wouldn't start any new wars. And that's something that a lot of conservatives are probably going to push back on. They're going to say, well, there were no new wars started under Trump. With Tulsi Gabbard in the administration this time around, there definitely will be no new wars started. Again, that's not the problem. And just because you don't start any new wars does not mean that you are not pro-war. I also want to make a general disclaimer. So I've been throwing around the terms pro-war and anti-war a little bit in this video, mostly when quoting AOC. But I broadly think that using the term anti-war to describe your foreign policy beliefs isn't all that helpful, because there are some scenarios in which everyone would probably support some war if we're attacked. So it's kind of a euphemism to just say, oh, I'm anti-war. It's kind of like just saying that you're in favor of good things. as a right-wing YouTube channel actually pointed out. Just saying, oh, I support good things and I am against bad things, and that's why I support peace and I'm against war. So again, not all that helpful. We have to break it down on a case-by-case basis. We have to look at what types of interventions, what types of funding they've supported and opposed, what type of international actors they've supported and opposed, and evaluate their foreign policy beliefs from that. We don't just get to vaguely say, well, this person's pro-war, this person's anti-war. I can grant that in some senses Trump is non-interventionist. In some senses, he's isolationist. As a whole, though, he's got quite a bit of neoconservatism coursing through his veins. And his supporters do not want to reckon with that at all. But yeah, overall, not super pleased with AOC or Tulsi Gabbard in this. I don't think this was a great response. I think that the American people need a better explanation for why Tulsi Gabbard is questionable as a director of national intelligence and why her backing of Trump is questionable as well. But let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think AOC is right? Do you think Tulsi Gabbard's right? Please leave a like, comment, or subscribe to the channel. As always, thank you for watching, and I look forward to speaking to you in the next video.